How's it going, everyone? Got a huge update on what's going on with Xbox games coming to PlayStation. Their update coming later this week. We have an official announcement coming from them, as well as a date where you can expect the update. Definitely one of the biggest stories of the year, and certainly going to be one of the bigger stories we cover throughout the entirety of the year in gaming, and that is Xbox and their business dealings going into the future, games potentially coming to PlayStation, so on and so forth, and we will be getting some much-needed clarity with the Xbox Official Podcast Special Edition set for February the 15th, featuring Xbox business updates. This will include talk from company CEO Phil Spencer, President Sarah Bond, and Head of Studios Matt Booty. This will all be going down on YouTube, and you can watch it there 12 p.m. Pacific Time, 3 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. GMT. This will be the event in which Microsoft Gaming shares more details with you about our vision for the future of Xbox. This is coming off the heels of several rumors that multiple high-profile Xbox titles will be making their way over to other platforms, most notably PlayStation, and we should be getting some clarity. I saw some people being like, oh, you guys are talking about this too much, we don't have anything confirmed, yada, 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 Phil Spencer's just gonna dispel the rumors, guys, that's what's gonna happen. No, if they just wanted to dispel the rumors, they would have put out a quick statement on Twitter. When there's this many rumors, when there is this much smoke, there's certainly going to be some fire, and I would imagine that no, not every Xbox title is gonna be out on PlayStation in the coming weeks. That would be absolutely asinine to do. It would be incredibly incompetent. You don't do that. I think about when PlayStation was spam releasing their games on PC when it first started. They randomly dropped like Sackboy: A Big Adventure for $60 on Steam. It's like nobody cared, and that game peaked at like 300 concurrent players. It's like nobody cared about Sackboy coming out on Steam. You don't want to do these Xbox releases so quickly that it loses all of its luster right away and you dilute the releases of this game. You don't want to drop a Halo and a Gears of War back-to-back on PlayStation. I imagine that at some point that'll happen where both games are available on PlayStation, but you don't want to do it right away. You want to space some of these games out. Start off with a Hi-Fi Rush. It's a $30 game. It's a fantastic game, by the way, one of my favorites of 2023, and I think that game will do exceedingly well on PlayStation 5 and Nintendo Switch if they ultimately release it there as well. Switch 2, whatever. That game will do very well. You release that, maybe you do a Starfield a couple months after that. Then you've got other games in your back pocket like a Forza Horizon. You've got games coming out like an Avowed, Indiana Jones. I do question whether or not these releases are going to be day one on PlayStation. And I almost think like in Indiana Jones, for example, it comes out at the end of the year. We're talking about December for that game. It comes out for $70 or Xbox Game Pass. I imagine most people are going to play it via Game Pass. Are people really going to be interested in that game 6 to 9 months with a delayed release on PlayStation at $70? I just don't think a lot of people will be, and that is going to be a question that I hope to get some clarity to in terms of what the window is going to be between releases of these games coming out. In Avowed, Xbox Game Pass day one, 6 to 9 months later, is it going to be on PlayStation for $70? I think that is going to lose a lot of its luster. If Xbox is going to go this direction, they already released their games day one on another platform. It's called Steam. Those games are available there at 60 to $70 or whatever price point, Hi-Fi Rush 30, the day of release. If ultimately you're going to go into this direction where Xbox is going to be more of a games publisher and they're going to put more emphasis on Game Pass, well then at that point, if you're going to get more and more out of the console business, just release your games day one on the other console and maximize the return on revenue on those games. And it'll also be interesting if they can work out a deal to get Xbox Game Pass on PlayStation. That is something that I think a lot of people think it's just a 1-2 snap of the finger and they can get Game Pass on PlayStation. That's not how it works because there's a lot of moving parts to Game Pass in totality. First of all, the business structure of Game Pass and what Game Pass is, that might be something that Sony doesn't even want to partake in because Game Pass, incredible value to consumers. I talk about it over and over again, but it remains a fact. It does lessen the value of games. So if you drop a Game Pass on PlayStation, well then you also lessen the value of Persona 3 Reload on PlayStation, where PlayStation, that game is only buyable at $70. There's a lot more moving parts, especially when you consider the fact that the deals Microsoft and Xbox cut for games like Persona 3 Reload, those deals are cut for those games to be on PC on the Xbox Games app, not the Steam version of the game, as well as Xbox. That doesn't include the PlayStation version of the game. That doesn't include any other version of the game. So if Game Pass was to come to PlayStation, it would be a complete restructuring of Game Pass as a service as well. I think that sometimes gets lost in the discussion about Game Pass on PlayStation. And I don't even know if PlayStation wants it to be a normal place where a lot of games are available on their platform day one at $70. I don't think they view gaming like that. I think Xbox and Microsoft, they have a different view on where their ultimate destination for gaming is, and it is via a subscription service in Game Pass. Does PlayStation have a subscription service? Yeah, it's PS Plus Extra, but let's be honest, let's look at those games lineup recently. It's not like they're putting that much emphasis on it. Is it a quality service? Yeah, I think it's fairly good. You've got all the legacy PlayStation titles outside of Spider-Man 2018 because Sony decided to be kind of whack with that, but nonetheless, I still think it's a quality value. It's just inherently, what are we going to do with Plus Extra? We're going to compare it to Game Pass because it's the direct competitor, at least viewed as the direct competitor, but I don't think Sony sees it as that. I think they just see it as an accessory revenue stream and definitely not the core fundamental of their business, whereas with Microsoft and Xbox, Game Pass is a core fundamental of their business, and if you bring that over to PlayStation, it would completely restructure, PlayStation and how they release games as well, and it would be this idea of your lessening value of games on PlayStation. There's a lot of moving parts of this, and definitely stuff that I would not have the answers to, and it would be more apparent in a corporate meeting and a business meeting between PlayStation and Xbox, and I'm sure you can come to some sort of middle ground agreement, but I don't think that's going to happen, at least not anytime in the near future. But we are already hearing about games like Starfield coming to PlayStation, Hi-Fi Rush, Hellblade 2 potentially coming to PlayStation as well. Games like that, Hellblade 2, that's already scheduled for a May release. I doubt that's going to be day one. I could see Hellblade 2 making a turnaround fairly quickly, like 3 months after release, maybe drop it on PlayStation in August, September, somewhere around then. But ultimately, I do think we're going to get to a point where these games just come out day one on PlayStation, and I don't think it'll be a part of a subscription service on PlayStation. I think you'll have to spend $50-$60, but I think people would be willing to do that. It's just, I don't think people would be willing to do it on a 6 to 9 month or even a year delay. I don't think people are spending $70 on Avowed a year after release. I don't think people are spending $70 on Indiana Jones a year after release, and so on and so forth. Forza is also in the mix there. It would be interesting to see another big budget racing sim on PlayStation, and one with as cachet and as much history as Forza. If nothing else, Forza Horizon, would love to see that. And then, you've got so much potential for some of these games in terms of what you could do. Halo MCC would be huge. Halo Infinite, I keep talking about it, and I feel like, yes, you guys are probably more excited at the idea of Halo MCC, but revitalizing Halo Infinite as a live service game, I think that could be an incredible second win for that game if it drops on PlayStation. And then Gears, I don't think that many people would be excited for Gears 4 and 5 on PlayStation. I actually like those games, but man, if you do a Gears trilogy and you drop it on all platforms, Steam included, and maybe even Switch too, I don't know, that sounds like a license to print a whole lot of money. I think there's a whole lot of potential with the back catalog that you do have with Xbox. Fable as well, that's a sleeper franchise that I know we haven't gotten an entry of in, 15 years, I feel like it has been, but, eventually that franchise will come back. Playground is working on a new Fable, and that could do very, very well. But those games, the titles that are coming out in 25, that I do believe they should ship that to day one releases, because I think Starfield on a year delay, $70, that's no buys. I think Indiana Jones, $70 on a 6 to 9 month delay, no buys. People will buy them when they go on sale, but right away, no buys at $70. But that'll do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Sound off there. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. And definitely let me know your guys' thoughts, your expectations. Don't think Game Pass is going to be an element of PlayStation, not for a very, very long time, if ever. But these games coming to PlayStation, I see that being pretty likely at this point. But that'll do it for me. Again, your thoughts down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.